He was asked that, supposed he had his last few dollars in his pocket, what will he do with it? He said he will go to a hotel and buy his coffee there, even if there might be other places where the coffee he can buy it for cheap. He will go and buy it with all the money he has in his pocket, that one cup of coffee. They say, why? He said, because the kind of people he want to meet are in that place. Do not meet with people who are not aspiring to your class or are in your class. If they are above you, there's a possibility of being snubbed, of being looked down at as a little rat. I've been there, I've seen that. Nobody really cares about you. How to attract money? Be with the right class. Be with the right class. Let me speak some more on this tonight. Let me speak some more on it tonight. Okay. That's something. One of the strong things that will attract money to you is persuasion. Your ability to be a persuasive person. Number one, I've talked about attaching value to money. Talk about meeting the right class, knowing where the kind of people you want to reach are. And then I've also talked about, and that's what I want to talk about right now, is persuasion. Do you know how to persuade people to do what you want? Instead of getting angry and commanding, there's nothing as frightening to me like somebody who is a commanding force, a demanding force, instead of somebody who invites for a conversation, instead of somebody who possesses the talent to try and understand the other person. Instead of suspicion, reading meaning into, accept life the way life is. Easy come, easy go, so that you can live long and enjoy life and look young. And not read your own meanings into what is going on without even having clarification from the other person, and then accept what they say just as it is until they prove otherwise. Persuasion was the one single greatest talent of Nelson Mandela. Persuasion. Show me one world leaders, including Hitler, Mussolini, Napoleon, my Lord Jesus. Show me one that does not carry persuasion as the underlying, the foundational factor to attract money or to attract obedience and to make people do the things that they should do for the overall good of everyone or for the overall output of the organization, whether public or private sector. Persuasion is better than quarrel. Persuasion is a call to conversation. Let me write that down. Persuasion is a call to conversation. Persuasion is a call, or persuasion is an invitation for a conversation. persuade people. How do you do it? You know how to walk on the emotion, on the truthful side of the emotion, on what they are good at. You pursue that side of their life. You talk to them based on their strength. Do you see that in some cultures when they are singing about somebody, they are singing about the good things about that person. They are singing about the power of that person, the greatness of that person, the fame of that person. That's what they are singing. You persuade people through their areas of strength, not through their areas of weakness. Don't attack people based on their weakness. Persuade people based on their strength, on their areas of power. Engage people on the areas that they are fundamentally great and see what will happen. I know that there are leaders of the world that uses this to their advantage to do wrong to people and lead people astray. The devil uses persuasion too. Demons uses persuasion. Fallen angels, everything that has force of power uses persuasion. Because they know that when you come ordering people about, buzzing people about, kicking people about, humans are going to rebel against you. They're going to rebel against you one way or the other. If you come with brutal force, well, they will just tolerate you for so long until somebody will start a sin. You don't really like your husband, but does that warrant that you can start quarreling with him, fighting him, mocking him, making a mockery of who he is, turning him into a joker, a comedian, and a bunch of idiots, and laughing at him? Sit back and ask yourself whether that is really what Christianity is about. Are you really a Christian when you do this? Is there a way you can help your husband or your wife so that they do better, instead of constantly quarreling about their weaknesses, what they cannot do? Is there a way you can help them? Maybe that person has bent out. Maybe that person has bent out. The romance has bent out. He's bent out. Or she is bent out. And your job is to help them to find their place. People burn out. And sometimes when they burn out, they can't get up. So you need your other partner to help them. Sometimes burnt out shows itself in infidelity. They find somebody whom they think is listening to them. They think is giving them audience. They think want to help them. Burnt out shows up in different ways. They become irritable and angry. They start going back to their families, to their old friends, to old habits. That is when you should jump in to reassure the person that you will be there for them, for him or her. And not a time to walk away and go and get a divorce. It's not a time to complain. Persuasion will give you everything. It will make people to really see you for who you are. When you persuade them, persuasion means you are able to make them see their future in what you are saying. Persuasion is your ability to make people see their future. Let's write that one down. Persuasion is your ability to make other people see their future. Because you must give people a future. If you want people to follow you, you must give them a future. If they do not see a future, they cannot follow you. And there are people who've been able to use the gift of persuasion negatively. They make people believe there is a future, whereas there is none whatsoever. There's a future for the leader, but there is absolutely no future for the followers. And that is how a lot of things are organized. They will persuade you what the company will do for you, what the company will do this, will do that. And at the end of the day, there is nothing. Absolutely nothing. You work for that company for 10, 20 years, and there is nothing in it for you. I've known companies that have stopped the 401k of some of their workers. They've stopped to put money there for them. Some corporations have no heart whatsoever. They work you like a dog, and at the end, you have nothing to show for it. That's why you have to be smart. They will persuade you to give your all, your sweat, your blood, until you drop and die. And there's nothing for your family. Doris is an example of this. She and her husband worked like crazy in the military. When the husband died, she got nothing. I'm using that as an example. And that woman has paid a price to be in America, raising her kids all by herself, still back in Africa. It's crazy. That's why when I look at her, it moves me so much to tears, because it reminds me of my mom. That's why I have Millionaire 500. To persuade you to begin to see yourself for who you are. Before we start getting into all the deep details and everything, let me prepare you for these things. I only need people who can stand details and rigorous thinking. Can you stand details and rigorous thinking? Then you will be rich. Ability to stand. Okay. Ability to stand. Detail. And do rigorous thinking. Will make you rich. Persuasion also means your ability to pick up a book and read and find out what will benefit you in that book. It's not everything somebody's writing or somebody's saying that you're going to accept. Question things, because people will persuade you to do the wrong thing and throw you away. Let me tell you, when I come into contact with a real human being, full of unlimitedness in greatness, I know it. And I follow without questioning. I want you to begin to ask God to give you the gift of persuasion. In fact, that is what the whole teaching tonight is. On this part 1 and part 2 of this video. Because part 3 is coming. How to attract money. You are able to persuade people that your business is the best. If you have a restaurant, that your burgers are the best. Your fish and chips are the best. Your fries are the best. Your ice cream and yogurt are the best. persuade people that you are the best. And you have to prove it. You have to prove it. Excuse me. There we go. Persuasion means the ability to prove something. So persuasion is not just ability to convince people, but ability to prove something. The ability to prove something. That's persuasion. People now see the proof and they are persuaded accordingly. When people see the proof of what you are trying to convince them, which is persuasion, they will follow you. There's nothing that should stop a woman if she really admires and loves somebody or pursuing the person, if she knows she can measure up to the class of that person. There are men who run after some women that they have no business running after because they do not measure up to the class of that person, except entering to go and ruin that person because they don't belong to that class. Same thing with women. I remember when we were talking to my mom some years back about her helping to find the right girl in their territory for her son to marry. And my mom said that there was no girl who was capable of the class of her son. And that is true. Because people who are not in your level and in your class, they will destroy you. Because they are coming with a different mentality. They will get angry and irritable easily because they don't understand you. Both of you are not in the same vibration. Same thing in business. You go and gather a bunch of people who don't belong to your class, who don't understand what you're doing. You go and bring them to be staff. They will destroy the business for you. They will ruin it. So you have to know exactly those who you are picking. They should be like you. They should have the same persuasion, overall obligation and loyalty to you. People who are not loyal to you have no business being in your life. People who do not put you first above everything in that business, because that's your business. They want to make sure you succeed. They have no business being there to come and run it down for you. Why should you be married to somebody who is an enemy? Who is only thinking about her own children, her own family, her own brothers and sisters, instead of you? You must be out of your mind if you think this way. Why should you befriend somebody that is crazy? Whose overall objective should not be to protect you, promote you, provide for you, and have a future plan already for you. Such a meeting should take place before you proceed. Somebody who criticizes your weaknesses instead of starving it. Or protecting you until you find ways to take care of it, instead of coming to find out your weakness and using that weakness against you. It's not worthy of you. Someone who cannot protect your weaknesses is your enemy. I know of people who, when they begin to talk to me about the churches where they've been, what they saw with the pastor, what they saw with the this, with the that, I just like, wow, I am not going to allow this kind of fellow into my life, because if I do, this fellow will come to find out my weaknesses and will come to find out, the person is just coming to find out the problems and will go and talk about it to other people. That's who they are. They are not coming to listen to the teachings and apply it. They are coming to find out what you've not yet done. And if you should tell them to bring out their money and buy you a better ministry cameras or a good quality car to drive around the nation, or a plane to fly around the world. They cannot. But they have the gut to compare you to other people. So why are you then coming to me if you cannot give to me so that I can succeed in ministry? Others come because they want a marriage. They see the pastor as a candidate for marriage, and then they come into his life and they ruin the ministry, ruin him, divorce him, and go about and mock him exactly as they did their former husband or wife. I mean, depending on if the pastor is a man or a woman. Then why were you coming? People have negative persuasion, so be able to discern negative persuasion. But what I'm saying is that for you to attract money, you need positive persuasion of people about your product, about your brand. And if you are the brand, you must be polite, you must have courtesy, you must be bold, you must have a smile, you must laugh while you are talking to people about your product or about your business. When I worked, Maria, I want you to listen to this carefully. Maria of Nebraska, of South Sudan, and Rebecca too. When I work in a non-profit, I work in that non-profit not because I needed it. I worked in there because I wanted to learn how to run it, because I knew that along the way I'm going to run my own. I'm telling you. I knew that one day I'm going to run my own. And I went through every paperwork they have there. I love the night shift so that I can read. I can look up things and learn everything that I'm capable of learning. That's true. I'm not apologizing for it because I know that that is the right thing to do. Whatever came into my presence, I mastered it and saw the way they run it. And all their weaknesses I threw into the sea. I watch how people do shortcut. One of the places where I worked had bed bugs, and I watched the sloppy nature of the management. Instead of tearing the building down, they kept the thing and were patching the bed bugs, and bed bugs were busy eating up the people. One day, one guy, I forgot what we call that guy's name. He had a weird beard. He was sleeping in the night in that facility. I mean, the side where we work, where the offices are, there are no bed bugs. But the side where the residents slept and all those program things, there were bed bugs. Big time. The chapel there were bed bugs. Big time. And this guy was sleeping, woke up in the middle of the night with his navel swollen. And he's been feasted pretty good by bed bugs. They love him. That's why I'm very careful about what hotel I stay in. I don't want to carry no bed bugs. Those things are very dangerous. That's why I'm very careful about certain people out there. When I give people help, give them help and let them stay out there. Don't bring them to your homes. You bring them to your home, they bring the bugs. Not just that, they bring demons, they bring bed bugs, they bring roaches, they bring all kind of things. They bring flu, they bring disease, everything. And they spread it like wildfire all over your body, all over your house. It's not about the demons because I can handle those ones. They put flea on your dog, all kind of stuff. If you are ever going to attract money into your life, you're going to be persuasive. Remember when I used to work in one of those places, one of those non-profit? When I go to preach, I will ask people to donate to that place. My boss didn't know. He will stay on Monday morning and I'll bring a check to them. They thought they were doing something right. I was the one that was doing something right. People were giving me money to give to them. And I was doing that faithfully. Never kept a dime to myself. They never said thank you. They never knew how those money came about. They received it and enjoyed it. Until the people were giving me the money to give to them. They began to know that I also need money, and they began to give me my own separately. Persuade people about what you are doing. And along the way, people are going to help you to start your own. Because they know you are better than where you are. And that's why I say to many of you, help me purchase a building. If God has blessed you with extra 100,000, send me some. I need money desperately to buy buildings for the ministry. I want people to come for retreat, for conferences. Come with your pillow. There are some conferences that will happen in the night. People will lay all over the floor with sweet-smelling incense and dim-lighted candles and meditation Christian music playing. And somebody reading out a portion of scripture, a word over and over until it sinks inside you. People who came on wheelchair will walk out there, and I will load up their wheelchairs. We will send it to places where it's needed. I'm looking forward to big soaking sessions. Sessions where people stay in the presence of God until either God come down or nothing. And he will. Where Jacob ladder's trances happen. Yeah. I want to buy a building where people can come and retreat. Where you are not just coming to come and eat food, you are coming to hear God's word and it sink inside you. I told a young man today, I told him that